For more than 30 years, the government has addressed hazardous waste sites with a program known as the Superfund.
4 years have passed since the meltdowns at the Fukushima nuclear power plant in Japan.
It's been more than a week since 3 million gallons of toxic wastewater gushed from the Gold King mine in Colorado. That wastewater, filled with toxic heavy metals, has contaminated several rivers in 3 states. The Gulf oil spill is full of big numbers that tell their own story, so we thought we'd run through a few of them.
1,499 birds with oil on them have been found dead, but more than that, 1,699 visibly oiled birds have been collected alive, according to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service.
Whether we see it or not, the potential impacts of its presence may plague us for decades.
What are the environmental concerns specifically in these mines that are leaking?
Cadmium, arsenic, zinc, they hang around, they settle into the bottoms of rivers.
600 miles, that's the number of miles along the Gulf coastline impacted by the oil.
You're creating not only tons in fact, of greenhouse gases, but by burning it, you also release what's called dioxins, which are part of the EPA's dirty dozen chemicals.
But engineers still can't look inside the damaged reactors. The radiation is too harsh.
We need to come up with a solution to where we're actually fixing it, not just kicking the responsibility down this toxic trail.
What happens to this waste when it leaves the Superfund site and where it goes? So where does it go?
The time has come for man to make his peace with nature.
Let us renew our commitment. Let us redouble our effort. The quality of our life on this good land is a cause to unite all Americans. The environmental agenda now before the Congress includes laws that deal with water pollution, pesticide hazards, ocean dumping, excessive noise, careless land mowing, and many other environmental problems.
It was such a big hit, like everybody loved it. Oh my God, let's start cleaning up all these sites.
Some of the most common contaminants that you'll find at the 1,000+ Superfund sites that there are would be your heavy metals.
Lead is very prevalent from battery breaking sites in this area. We also have a lot of sites with PCBs, with dioxins.
A lot of asbestos, lead, hexavalent chromium, cadmium.
Polyaromatic hydrocarbons, also known as PAHs.
Leaking underground tanks that are still there are mostly empty, but with just a bit of the plume under the tanks.
Basically, humans produce cleaners that are often hazardous. You know, something to clean rigorously has some heavy-duty chemicals.
Trichloroethylene, which is a degreaser, also known as TCE. PCE, or PERC, tetrachloroethylene, is also popular. That was used mainly in the dry cleaning industry.
We produce machinery that has a lot of organics on it that, if released to the environment, are hazardous.
And those are typically the ones you see in these train derailments that, you know, they go off the track and 8, tanker trucks of hexamethyl death, go off and all of a sudden now it's up in the air. It's going in everybody's homes who are in the area.
DDT, which is in the top 10 by the World Health Organization of persistent organic pollutants to not use.
Gasoline, many of the things that we use every day.
One of the things we look at during the investigation of the site is both the current use and the potential future use of the site. And we try to work that into our model and our conceptual design on how we're going to clean up the site.
We know we need to clean up hazardous waste sites, but maybe some of them don't need to be cleaned up as much as others. And if we do that, we could spend less money and get them back into use sooner.
We're currently looking at several sites right in the Philadelphia area, Franklin Slag Pile being one of them. It's currently located fairly close to the Delaware River, which raises a lot of concerns. Unfortunately, the metal content is so high, it's difficult to keep the metal from leaching out of the slag, and now we're evaluating other alternatives because the community and the state and the city was opposed to our original plan. One of the things that's important to realize is that the EPA does not own this property, so we have to work with the current owners as well as with the community to see what the future use of the site could be.
So right now you can go from the art museum down to close to Bartram's Garden through 2 sites that were formerly contaminated, and they've been cleaned up, and now they're ready for reuse and redevelopment.
It's very rewarding when you actually clean up a site and you work with the community and you see the direct benefits for the community and the people that are living there.
You learn about Superfund sites primarily from people like us. You just have to be observant, that's all.
We don't always know there's a problem until it has gotten pretty big.
And it's not so much the Superfund sites that we know of that are cause for alarm, although they can have problems resurface, and they have had problems resurface. It's the Superfund sites that still haven't been given that ranking of Superfund that we have to worry about, that are just around the corner, that people just don't know about yet.